Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. I'm really excited to be joined by Ashraf from Cricket4Us 2.0, and we're going to be discussing the first T20 international between New Zealand and Australia. Um, yeah, really exciting clash, I had to say. I have to say, even, and looks though to me, and from what we saw, that New Zealand were dominant. And thanks to my boy Devin Conway, who I've been talking to you about for ages, Asjad, after the what was it, the series against West Indies and also
Yeah,
Pakistan,
yeah.
and he came up trumps here. But yeah, what's your initial thoughts?
First off, Devin Conway is a beast. He is a beast. 99 not out. I felt bad for him because him and Darwin Milan both have had now 99 not out innings in like 2 months. But he batted very well. He did exactly what I expected Kane Williamson to do, but Kane Williamson got out quite early on. They were 19 for 3. Then he had a brilliant partnership with Glenn Phillips, who did Glenn Phillips things. He scored like 26, 27 runs, and then skied one, got dropped, and then in the next over, exactly the same thing happened. This time they didn't drop him. And Jimmy Neesham, when he came to the crease, he kind of smashed it a little bit as well. So all in all, I think New Zealand, after that initial 19 for 3 in the first 4, just rebuilt so well. Just imagine they were going at 10 and over for the rest of the innings, over 10 and over. So Devin Conway did a fantastic job. And yeah, can't commend him enough. On the other side, if I just quickly mention Australia with the bowling, no one actually stood out. Adam Zampa didn't complete his full quota of overs. That shocked me. I was like, how? What is happening? But yeah, Aaron Finch's captaincy wasn't the greatest. Some of the fielding positions weren't the best. And just to be very honest, the bowling was suboptimal, because Kane Richardson in the end got smashed. Daniel Sands got over 40 runs by the end of it. And it just looked like, yeah.
Jai Richardson bowled quite well, didn't he?
He
4
bowled,
overs, 2 wickets for 7.75 and over. I thought that was decent.
He bowled well, but the thing is, when you compare it to like the stage they were at, where they were 19 for 3. He should have been a lot better, and a lot of the other bowlers did start to leak runs eventually. That's where it kind of put me off a bit. But otherwise, yeah, that innings was pretty good for New Zealand.
Yeah, as a bowling unit, I think is what you're touching upon. They weren't good enough, I think. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they should have really, at 19 for 3, you expect them to be ruthless. And to be fair, there's going to be a lot of questions around Australia in general now because, sorry, after the Gabba incident as well, like there's going to be massive like question marks around it. So yeah, I think definitely, like, for me, New Zealand were just dominant in every sense of the word. And looking at their team, I mean, the only thing I can say is obviously the openers got out so cheaply, right? Martin Guptill for 0 and Seifert for 1. But there's the biggest issue for me is Guptill. He looks really devoid of runs. So that for me is a big. I don't know. He needs to get into runs quickly because he might get dropped otherwise eventually before the World Cup.
Yeah, on my stream, someone mentioned they wanted Finn Allen to open instead of Martin Guptill. I don't know who Finn Allen is, but apparently he's a pretty good opener. So Martin Guptill should have been rested because he hasn't performed in at least a year, from my memory. I haven't seen him perform.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. I don't remember the last time he's got a score, a decent, substantial score. So he's definitely struggling for form and runs. Maybe he needs to go back to the domestic scene just for like a month or so, just get his form back and come. He's clearly good enough. Like, there's no doubt about that. But he's in a bad patch. And what really excited me was I said that when Kane Williamson came back, I wanted to see everyone just move down one spot. And I said, no, Devin Conway at 4, Glenn Phillips at 5. So Glenn Phillips actually hit 30 off 20. Jimmy Neesham, though, hit 26 off 15. And those guys obviously come in and they just bash it. And I think that's perfect. And you've got Mitchell Santner, right, at 7. So, and he can bat, he can hit the ball, he can hit a long ball. So I think that's perfect. And Devin Conway for me is just, as you said, he's a beast. He's 29, so he's not young, but he's got a few more years left in him. I'm hoping that he gets a chance in the longer formats as well. I still think he's an all-format player, so we'll see. But I think it's going to be interesting to see. New Zealand, I think, for me, are one of the favourites going into the 2020 World Cup at the moment. Anyway, there's still a long way to go in the year, but I think they are.
They're number 6. Can you imagine? They're number 6 in the T20 rankings.
I think thing is as well, like, you look at their team, and a lot of it is the core is an all-format core. So maybe there's a workload issue there. But Carl Jameson again played, and I was saying this to Venu. I'm not so in tune with the IPL, but I know he went for big money in the IPL, and again he got spanked. And I said this because in Test cricket he's fantastic. For me, one of the best bowlers around at the moment in current form. But in 2020s he's struggling, and it's just because it's a completely different format, and he hasn't got to grips with it yet. And he went for 32 runs from 3 overs. I mean, Tim Southey went for 3 and over. Ridiculous. 2 wickets, 3 and that's Test cricket like stats. And yeah, Adam Zampa, as you said, 3 overs and he only went for 6s. So I don't know why you wouldn't bowl. For me, he's their best white ball bowler. So bizarre stuff. They didn't have their full strength side though as well, has to be said. Australia, some notable omissions like Steve Smith, Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood. So they're being rested, so fine. So I expect New Zealand to win this whole series, but yeah, I mean Devin Conway was just immense. Mitch Marsh, I guess, was a plus for Australia, the 45 of 33. But yeah, do you think this was a thrashing? Really, 53 runs they won.
53 runs. I heard this somewhere years ago that in T20 a 15-run win is equivalent to 50 runs in an ODI match. So a 50-run win is approximately 170-run win in an ODI. So it's huge. It is absolutely ginormous. And I was very surprised because I thought Australia was like, when they were 19 for 3, I was like, yeah, Australia's going to do Australia was 19 for 4, dude. Right? 19 for 4. They lost everyone. Like Aaron Finch, stupid shot. Matthew Wade just can't play. Josh Philippe, right? This is his debut. And he did a Heather Ali. So you know what I mean, Fazan, right? You know what I mean, what he did, right? Just skied it up in the air. And because they were 16 for 3 at the end of the 4th over. And then they were 19 for 4. And it was like, Maxwell, 1 of 5. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? He does well in ODIs for Australia. But T20s, like Maxwell, Kyle Jamieson, both of them, right? Both of these guys, sorry to interrupt, but Kyle Jamieson and Maxwell went for approximately $4 and a bit million in the IPL. And they both flopped in this match.
Thing is, I've said this to you before, that Glenn Maxwell is a fantastic hitter and he scores very quickly. But yeah, you made a great point there that his ODI form has been fantastic over the past year or so, not his 2020 form. And the reason for that, and I've kind of alluded to this before, and I still am of this thinking that, look, either you need to bat him at like 4 in the T20s, or like maybe around 4, I would say, and then, or even 3 potentially, yeah. But I think, if you want 4 and give him more time at the crease, because he will be slow at the start. He's not the type of person who's going to come in and start smashing everywhere. Everyone thinks that, and he's not. Yes, eventually, once he gets in, he goes at a ridiculous strike rate. But he needs to get in initially. And if he feels like he has to come in and just start hitting, then it's tough. And I feel like he's definitely got that pressure in T20s because he's been pigeonholed as that type of player. But ODIs, he's got that time. And that's why he's so good. So as you said, yeah, like, people need to take it relative to the format they're playing. It doesn't always transcend into different formats, I think, of form. So they need to be careful with that. Just to wrap up then, I mean, Devin Conway got man of the match, which is rightly so. As you said, unfortunate. Ish Sodhi, though, 4 for, bowled exemplary. Nice to see a leggy getting wickets as well. As you know, you always say that I bowl a bit of leg spin myself. So I'll mention that. But also, the rest of the series then, I mean, I thought New Zealand were the favourites anyway because they've got pretty much a full-strength side compared to Australia. They're at home as well. More of the same?
It seems like it, right? Australia, by far, New Zealand aren't the finished product in this based on this performance. But what they did show was character when they built that innings back up. Now they need their openers to fire. Right? If their openers start to fire, and on top of that, on their bowling end, if Jamieson can work it, then they should be a very, very potent side. Now, Ferguson is injured. That's the only exclusion. And Adam Milne, I don't think he's coming back into the side in the next couple of years. But let's hope so. But it doesn't seem like he is. So Lockie Ferguson isn't available. Hence, they are going with Kyle Jamieson. That's what I'm thinking. Otherwise, Ferguson would be straight in to this side. And with the batting, Guptill needs to get in form, or for lack of a better term, get out, right? Because Finn Allen is there. There's other players, which I can't remember the name of. But the players we saw in the series when Pakistan toured, when West Indies toured, they did quite a pretty good job. So definitely they're at a point where they just need to tweak little bits, and then they'll be an absolute brilliant side. Australia, on the other hand, yes, it is an Australia B team. However, there's only like 3 players that I can recollect that are missing from the squad: Steve Smith, Stark, and Cummins. Hazelwood doesn't always get into the side. Jai Richardson or Kane Richardson might actually get in, because Kane Richardson, till not too long ago, was in the top 10 T20 bowlers of all in current stats, right? So definitely see them not being a B side, but more like a B plus side, if you get me. So definitely they are not at their best, but they should have put up more of a fight. They lost, like, this was, as you said, this was a destruction. This was like them being demolished completely.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Looking forward to the second one, though. I'm assuming Australia will try and bounce back. Hopefully, it'll be a bit more competitive. But New Zealand, just in all formats, are just a juggernaut at the moment. So let's see. And I think this is a series that maybe Carl Jameson will get to grips with T20s. It'll take him time. As I said, he's still very inexperienced. Okay. Thank you very much, Ashraf, for joining. Please do check out his channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to it, like his videos, comment on his videos. And of course, subscribe to my channel and like all my videos and comment all my videos and share all our videos with all your family, your friends, everyone. Okay, thank you very much, guys. See you on the next video. Stay